Good Tidings is a Christmas horror movie featuring not one, not two, but three killer Santas, all wreaking havoc on a group of homeless people. Now let's talk about it. The movie opens up on a drunk mall Santa preparing to leave for work, only to end up getting killed and robbed by three escaped mental patients. I don't know why this guy had three different sized Santa suits or why he had those creepy Santa masks, but just go with it. Oh yeah, and for the sake of the plot, he also keeps a baseball bat, fire axe, and machete in his trunk too. We then cut to a homeless man named John. He's sort of an important character, but also not really. John meets Sam, another homeless guy, and their meeting ends with Sam deciding finders keepers and takes him home. Once the abandoned courthouse, we learn the army of homeless people moved in. I say army, there's only about 20 deaths in the movie, but it seemed like there were more than that at times. Anyway, once we get John inside, we move the focus to Sam. So screw you, buddy, you had your 5 seconds of screen time, but don't worry, we'll check in with you occasionally. Sam is a former military man whose daughter was kidnapped. His wife blamed him for letting it happen, which I mean, the same could be said about her, but hey, I guess it only goes one way. Your fault, Sam. And now he's got eyes on a new girl. I forget her name, so for the sake of it, we'll just call the former junkie girl Junkie. All we really know about the two of them is that Sam helped her, presumably in the same way that he helped John, and that he sees her as a daughter, though that last thing he's only ever mentioned once and towards the very end. And throughout the movie, I thought his interest in her was more romantic. Really didn't give off father-daughter vibes. Soon after we settle down in the homeless shelter, the three Santas waltz in and start killing people, and thus begins an hour and 40 minutes of killing and running. That's it, just killing and running. A little bit of hostaging, but mostly just the killing and running thing. That I mentioned that they kill and run a lot? Because they do, and it happens a lot. Now the unfortunate thing is, the kills aren't even that good, and most of them keep all the violent stuff just out of view or entirely off screen. Sure, we see a machete go through a woman's stomach, and at one point Junkie decapitates a Santa, but even these kills don't look good, and it seemed like there was even some CGI blood used at times. You know the kind I mean, those really generic blood spurts you might find in a YouTube video. After seeing the few on-screen kills, it didn't come as a surprise why most of them were kept off screen. The guys making the movie probably knew they looked bad and wanted to hide most of it. That's not inherently a bad thing though. Movies like the first Texas Chainsaw had very tame kills. But when your movie is just running and killing and running, maybe try to make the kills more enjoyable. That means don't do shit like killing John off screen with a generic stab sound effect. That same death befell 5 other people, by the way. 4 unknowns and 1 named guy, Mona's husband. Oh, who's Mona? Literally no one important. Don't worry about it. Seriously. And going back to John, at one point he nearly gets killed by a Santa, but makes a deal with him to lure Sam into a trap in order to save himself. I didn't really mind this, to be honest, since John was pretty suspicious of Sam's character, and he literally just met these people not even 10 minutes ago. I didn't mind John, and I would have liked to see more of him. Like hell, a confrontation between him and Sam right after the setup stuff. But nope, once Sam runs away, another Santa Claus comes in and closes the door, causing the scream and stab sound effect kill that this movie really loves. Skipping to the end because again this is just a running and killing movie, Junkie has the chance to escape but decides not to and kills a Santa. By this point one of the Santas had been knocked out and presumed dead, and when she gets back to the entryway she sees Sam getting his ass beat by the final Santa. Junkie ends up cutting his head off in a really amateurish beheading. Like this is a kill they really should have left just out of view, and then the two unlock the doors and leave. Oh yeah, they were locked in, by the way. I forgot to mention that drunk guy in the opening, along with keeping a baseball bat, fire axe, and a machete in his trunk, he also kept chains and locks. You know, the everyday items. Once they leave, we pan over all the carnage, which felt really pointless, and then it's revealed that the big Santa is gone. But I didn't even know that's what I should have been realizing in that moment. The camera just randomly showed a floor as if we were supposed to recognize this really generic spot, and then the very last shot sees Santa standing in the doorway. He wasn't looking at Sam and Junkie though. For all we know, they're already miles away and what we're seeing is happening hours later. So it doesn't even end on a "are Sam and Junkie still in danger" note, or anything like that. Just a random sequel bait for a movie that was never going to see a sequel in the first place. Now I know most of what I said sounded like complaints, and I haven't even gotten to the pretty bad acting, editing, or music, but all that aside, I don't think this is a bad movie. I don't think it's a great Christmas horror movie, but at the same time, I don't mind that I spent an hour and 40 minutes watching it. I mean, okay, I guess it could have been shorter, but I don't mind the fact that I watched it. Ultimately, this movie is just running, a little bit of hostaging, and killing. The hostage stuff, by the way, is extremely random. It's like the killers knew they were the main characters, couldn't kill them, so just kinda took them to a room. That's all this movie was. However, it wasn't completely bad. I still had fun watching the fight scenes with the Santas, even if they were few and far between. Plus, I just thought it was fun seeing 3 idiot Santas chasing people around and killing them. This is just the Three Stooges with Santa suits doing some killing stuff. Very simple, but at the same time not entirely awful. However, the whole Santa stuff combined with the wacky "I'm a generic mental patient" sounds they did really kept serious moments from feeling serious. Like when Mona's freaking the hell out about her husband being killed and having his severed head rubbed all over her. Actually, that's an instance where I didn't think the acting was that bad, but again, can't really take it serious. I still thought it was an okay watch though, and though not a movie I'd be in a rush to recommend to anyone, I think it's worth checking out if you're into the whole Santa killer thing, or just into straight up violent movies. In the end, I'd rate 2016's Good Tidings a 6 out of 10. If you've seen this movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.